Your online community exchange for trending news, entertainment, and sizzling interviews on various topics. We feature independent music. Get your music in rotation by emailing music@leradio.org. We talk about social issues, cultural norms, and diversity, health and welfare, fashion trends, and more. Make sure to subscribe to us at www.leradio.org for shows and times. Follow us on Facebook, IG, and Twitter at Les Elegance Radio. Be a guest on our show. Email the show at leradio.org.
You were something special with words that have to say.
You're live with
You're
LA
like
Radio.
resuscitation, but you take my breath away. You're like the ray of sunshine or the rainbow by the lake. Every day with you is just like Valentine's. And I will write you songs, I will write you letters, and even in the storm, keep you in the shelter. 'Cause nothing really matters just as long as we're together. 'Cause every single day is just like Valentine's. So will you be mine? Mine. Will you be mine? Will you be my Valentine? Will you be mine? Will you be mine? Will you be my Valentine? I'ma start here with checklist. This in the morning for breakfast. You gon' wake up to the best. These on toast and a necklace. Cater to you, for you, just you. This is your everyday, 'cause every day is Valentine.
I don't think I ever had this feeling before. Damn. I'm addicted. You got me going. Love got me so high that I'm singing this song. I think I need to go to rehab.
They said be careful what you ask for. Had me craving for something I never had before. I'm trying to get in your mix, change up the tempo. So I hit your Facebook page and left my info. As I impatiently waited on your phone call, hour later my phone rung, number unknown. On the other end was a sexy tone. All I'm thinking to myself is this about to be on. You're more than welcome to come over, dinner on me. Call me Chef Boy, I Clover. 'Cause I feel lucky to have you in my presence. Sex so good, it feel better than a blessing. Full of conversation, love and affection. Your heart will never get broken, I'm here to protect it. No matter what they say, I'm not what they portray. You told me not to fall, but too late, 'cause
I'm addicted. You got me going. Love got me so high that I'm singing this song. I think I need to go to rehab. You got me going. Love got me so high that I'm singing this song. I think I need to go to rehab.
we never meant to head in this direction. I know your situation, I respect it. That's kinda contradictory when we naked. Admiring the physical features I'm caressing. I usually be the one doing the addicting, but you had me shaking like a fiend that need a fixing. So that theory is in question. The time that you give me more valuable than a lesson. Joking, laughing, all while we sexing. But your true feelings is a little perplexing. So I sit back and just play my position. We both fell quick, that wasn't our intentions. Now what do we do? There's no going back. I could try to shake my feelings, fade to black. Do we close the book or turn a page? You want me not to fall, but too late, cuz
I'm addicted. You got me gone. Love got me so high that I'm singing this song.
I think I need to go to rehab.
You got me gone.
Love got me so high
that I'm singing this song.
I think I need to go to rehab. This feeling is so new to me. Something I'm not used to. You in a situation where the person that you dealing with is in that situation. You end up falling unintentionally. And now
I'm addicted. You got me gone. Love got me so high that I'm singing this song.
I think I need to go to rehab.
You got me gone.
Love got me so high
that I'm singing this song.
I think I need to go to rehab.
T-Money, Rick Rock, Triple X.
Hey, we should have wow. For this, like, right now.
Certified fresh beat.
Hey, send me that. Send me some of that. Please. Thank you.
I just stepped in with a bottom, I just stepped in with a model, I just stepped in with my hope, all eyes on me when I come through. I just stepped in with a bottom, I just stepped in with a model, I just stepped in with my hope, all eyes on me when I come through.
Stepped up in here, money over here, drinking on that hard, but we don't do beer. I'm just trying to throw this money where the strippers at. We just always getting money, we some hustlers, man. You won't stand still, we don't stand still. Like we off a pill, drinking on this liquor, blowing on the swisher. Got me so official, clean as a whistle. Like a booty jiggle, and it be tatted, nigga. And I be flattered, nigga. Play with my money, boy, I'm gunning back. Different chains on me, boy, I'm stunned. Bet your lights hit my charm, it just glisten. Watch, I see you niggas looking, you just pissed, man. Check this, but I don't give a damn, I'ma do my damn.
Got a bottle, got a model, got my whole crew. Don't try to shake my hand, I don't know you. Hey, the team in the building yelling out squad. Fresh on the beat, make your head nod. Can't stand you fuck niggas that be frontin'. Knowing damn well you ain't getting money. Knowing damn well you ain't counting nothing while you talking like you got it. Nigga Rock said running, nigga. Squad on the slapping like this. Boy, your face look mad as shit. Her booty so fat, nigga had to hit. Afraid we out of time, I run it back to miss.
I stepped in. I get it, no asking, no questions. Stay fly and get girls like a lesbian. I'm with it. I stepped in. I'm blessed getting cash like a reverend. I cash out, come up when I'm betting. I get it. I just stepped in with a bottom. I just stepped in with a model. I just stepped in with my hope. All eyes on me when I come through. I just stepped in with a bottom. I just stepped in with a model. I just stepped in with my whole crew. All eyes on me when I come through.
All eyes on me, make you look twice. It's your boy, baby, I'm on my third life. My team in it, no, we nothing nice. 80s babies, one of a kind. And I just stepped in with a bottle. I ain't sipping, I ain't pulling on a scuttle. I'm about to twist it, about to blow it to the clouds, though. It ain't looking already drawing crowds, though. You ain't good in, it ain't coming round. Nah, I learned that as a youngin' in the town. From my old head through my first pound. And if you sippin' dog, better be brown. See the last hit my spaz on, this one getting cash on. So it's gon' pop off like tops on. We back out like beef on with the y'all. Trust baby is nothing. When my team in the building, man, all my niggas stuntin' like.
I just stepped in with a bottom. I just stepped in with a model. I just stepped in with my whole crew. All eyes on me when I come through. I just stepped in with a bottom, with a bottom. I just stepped in with a model, with a model. I just stepped in with my whole crew. All eyes on me when I come through.
Turn me up a little bit. Got another one. Turn me up a little bit more. Yeah, shot another one like a little bit more, man. Got another one like yo.
The controversy of a mixed breed. It's you, it's me, it's us. Because I'm half and half, I'm not considered a sister. Well, this system is just dumb. Cab who my mama fell victim to. A crazy dark-skinned man who trying to be back in my life, but I don't know if I can let him back in. I know it's kind of selfish of me, but hey, I don't like conflict or dealing with my problems. I just run from my past like I never even got them. Started from the bottom. Damn, I'm still here and I don't care how many people listen to this. It's epic. And every time I see them blue lights in my rear view, I'm suspect. They don't see that I'm half white. Plus the tints in my car look like the Dark Knight. I know it ain't right, but that's the way it is. I was a latchkey kid. I'm paying for my sins. Rather be paying for a new Benz like.
They got another one like. Them boys just shot another one like. Homeboy just copped another one like. Yeah. They got another one like. Just shot another one like. Boys just got another one like.
Yeah. Seems like every one of my friends is either addicts or alcoholics, and we just cycling through life like we never even saw this coming. Someone said I need a gimmick or something. I won't go out fronting like a chump, man. I'm be me. I used to wanna be the meanest MC. Now I just got a message. A higher power came to me and said, go and spread this. Here's your angel. My girl looked into the sky and said, thank you, my world. But he warned me, said it's not gonna be easy cause you're torn. See, torn between good and evil, rich and poor, dark skin, light skin. I need to say more. Your people, they keep killing each other for what? So they can have a few more bucks and a new truck. Take someone's child away from a few punks. No one respects life. We don't know what to do. What's in the next life? So,
they got another one like. Them boys just shot another one like. Homeboy just copped another one like. Yeah. They got another one like. Just shot another one like. Boys just got another one like. Yeah.
falling down.
Intuition is a given, but you and I were like the stars, shine brighter on the risen. I rise to the occasion, but still our love was so amazing. At the equation of us, due to the lack of trust, I knew that it'd be fate that we combust. And now my heart is empty. I'm singing to you simply to let you know our love is real. But even still, you know the deal. Our dreams and all our love is gone, and now the rain keeps falling down. You got me singing all our dreams and all our love is gone. That's why the rain keeps falling down, keeps falling down. Our dreams and all our love is gone.
Go ahead and clap your hands. Ladies, do your dance. Fellas, here's your chance to make a dance. Guilty as you don't let the jewelry rest. I'm well draped under with my jewelry rest. The curtains of a clothes, but this is no ACT, no standardized trust. Let the HD blow, cause my cool's so pressed. I'm paparazzi radio, the kids so pressed. Wrapped in my chill like the scarf on my neck, and my flow so full like a Nike check. Just do it, so intrusive. I'm ready for the night like the day is concluded. I'm headed to the floor like the cork from the bottles we pouring, but I'm stopped by a face so alluring. I get so excited when you are close to me. It's like a first takes over. It's electricity. Sets me on. What you do to me sets me on fire. I get so excited when you are close to me. It's like a first takes over. It's electricity. Sets me on. What you do to me sets me on fire. 4th of July, every time you walk by, swear all I ever see is fireworks. Look to the sky, so you just that fly. Style so deaf, she be in a hearse. Think I call JD or sit you on the couch like AJ and Freeze. Or Terrence and Roxy, that looks good on you, but the drink's on me. I don't think I need to tell you what your VIP. Put your numbers in my dial, radio frequency. AM, let me think, let me see. Party to the morning, spin your AM with me. We gon' get down like NYC or BGP. Butterflies in my stomach when you're close to me. I'm all about style, but you hotter than my jacket. Get this coat off you when you're close to me. The power of you shine brighter than utility. There's a spotlight, limelight, so get these cameras off me. This should be on you. You deserve it. Look at you. Hotter than 3 or 5. Let me joke with you. Fly it in G5. Let me ride with you. Magazine cover ready. I'ma vibe with you. Get in line with you. I get so excited when you are close to me. It's like the force takes over. It's electricity. Sets me on. What you do to me? What you sets me on fire. I get so excited when you are close to me. It's like the force takes over. It's electricity. Sets me on. What you do to me sets me on fire.
in LE Radio's hottest independent music rotation. Email music at leradio.org.
Show's new host, you're tuned into LE Radio, your online community exchange for trendy news, entertainment, and sizzling interviews on various topics. We feature independent music. Get your music in rotation by emailing music at leradio.org. We talk about social issues, cultural norms, and diversity, health and welfare, fashion trends, and more. Make sure to subscribe to us at www.leradio.org for shows and times. Follow us on Facebook, IG, and Twitter at Les Elegance Radio. Be a guest on our show. Email the show at leradio.org.
Get your music in LE Radio's hottest independent music rotation. Email music at leradio.org.
Show's new host.
Hello, my beautiful people. Sorry for that little mix up right there. Don't know what was going on, but you're tuned in to LE Radio, and I'm your host, Don, and right now I'm rocking solo. The wife may join me a little later. Shout out to all the beautiful people that tune in each and every day. Appreciate you. Appreciate you to the fullest. And tonight's show, we're going to be talking about lesbian bed death. But before I get into that, also shout out to, again, all those lovely, beautiful, independent, talented LGBTQ people out there. That's what I kicked the show off with. I dedicated, some music, and tonight I will be playing all independent LGBTQ music in celebration of Pride. In celebration of Pride, Atlanta, we don't celebrate Pride down here until September and October. Labor Day weekend, Black Pride is the bomb, it's the kickoff. Millions of people down here, not just for Pride, but a lot of other events usually is going on Labor Day weekend. But again, big shout out to those who are celebrating Pride this weekend, who have celebrated Pride this weekend. And again, I like to thank everyone who tunes into the show each and every Sunday. And tonight, or this evening, we're talking about lesbian sex, bed death. That's what we're going to be discussing tonight. So let's see where I want to start this off at. I guess I could just basically start it off with the fact that in these situations, when we are in these situations, we pretty much know that we are reaching these situations. But for whatever reason, we choose to ignore. We choose to ignore the red flags of what's plain and simple and already understood. But again, anyway, I'm going to go down and I'm going to talk about a few things, a few red flags that you should know when you've been in a relationship, you've been in that relationship with somebody for a while, for quite a while. You know when you hitting that point, because sex starts to feel boring and routine. There's no passion in it. It feels like a work. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you're obligated to have sex with this person because you're in a relationship, but you're not doing it from passion or pleasure. You're just doing it because you feel obligated. You feel obligated to do it. That's number one. Number two is you start making excuses not to have sex. Oh, I'm tired because I worked the extra 2 hours at work today. You might, instead of working 8 hours, you got stuck at work for an extra 2. And sometimes you don't even get stuck at work. You just start finding excuses and reasons not to have sex. Oh, I'm cramping, or it's crazy. I'm cramping. I have a headache. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. You start, maybe if you know the partner may want to engage in sex, you fall asleep on the couch. I was too tired to come get in the bed. Things like that. You just start making excuses to avoid sex. Number 3, you start spending more time apart, or you start asking for more space. All of a sudden, you become annoyed and you need all this extra space, and I need time to work on me because I put so much into this relationship. I haven't been able to work on me. But guess what? You should have worked on you prior to getting in a relationship, but that's another subject. Number 5, nagging. Nagging turns into full-blown fights out of nowhere about minor things, about not taking out trash, not putting up a dishes, or maybe just sitting a cup somewhere. It's just little minor things. Everything irritates you, and it typically always irritate the person that's being rejected, the person that's more or less not being rejected, or the person that's doing a rejection. Then want to say that the person that's nagging or whatever, now they're verbally or emotional abusive because they are sexually frustrated and they don't have an outlet, and that outlet turns into nagging, fights, unnecessary fights over minor things. Next, you stop sleeping together at night. No cuddling, no spooning. I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier. The intimacy starts to fade away. You stop wearing sexy underwear to bed. The seduction is not there. You get in the bed where before you might have had on matching Victoria's Secrets, or for the masculine identified, they might have had on some nice little boxer briefs or something that they knew turned their woman on. Now they get in the bed and they fully clothed in pajamas or whatever, but you stop coming to bed sexy. And seduction. The seduction starts to fade. The intimacy fades because of habit. You become comfortable in these relationships, and a lot of times when we become comfortable in a relationship, we stop doing the things we did in the beginning to get that person, to entice that person, to seduce that person, to keep that person close to us. We stop doing that a lot of the times when we get comfortable in the relationships. And something else that sometimes happens that causes this bed theft as well. I'm sorry. I sound like I'm saying you stealing something, but I'm not. I'm saying DEATH. I'm sorry. I'm a little country. My pronunciation may be off here and there. Something else that we overlook sometimes is sexual compatibility. Sexual compatibility. In the beginning, we may try to keep up with the person. We might already have a low sex drive, but we're having sex when we're really not in the mood. We're not communicating our sexual desires, and overlooking things like not being sexually compatible. And a lot of times we're not sexually compatible with some of our mates because we do not communicate in the beginning what we need sexually, what we desire sexually. You might have this fetish, and we all have them, or these kinky little things that turn you on that you're not mentioning in the beginning because you fear turning that person off, or scaring that person away. By opening up and allowing yourself to communicate what your sexual needs are. So sometimes that also leads to the lesbian bed death, because you're not being satisfied too, because certain things that you might desire, you are not communicating or have never communicated to your partner. Some other things that could lead to it is emotional baggage and being unavailable emotionally. Sometimes we get into these relationships and we're not totally available emotionally, or we come with emotional baggage again because we haven't taken the time to get ourselves together and to take care of ourselves before entering into some of these relationships. So again, you're tuned in to LE Radio, and I'm your host Don, and tonight we're talking about lesbian bed death. If you want to join the conversation, that number is 312-715-8219. Don't be shy. Again, that number is 312-715-8219. You could call in and join the conversation. Give your views, your points on, your thoughts on it. Share those thoughts.
You have questions? We might have answers. Call in now at 312-715-8219.
Yeah, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Call in, and let's share those, stories if you have any, and it sounds like somebody's calling in right now. If y'all will hold on for me one moment, just hold on for me one moment here. Okay, Nick, let me get my sister tuned in to hear my little sis tune in to the show. Nick, are you there? Are you there? Can you hear me? No, you cannot hear me. I don't know why you can't hear me. And I can't hear you, so hold on a second for me. No, that was right. What is going on here? What is going on here? They can't hear me. Let's see. I don't know what is going on here, and I have people calling in, but they can't seem to hear me right now, so let me see what is going on right here. There we go. Hello? And I think I just hung up on her. Oh, I think I just hung up. So I'm gonna call back and see if I could get on the line, see if she can hear me. Cause I'm not sure what's going on over here tonight. Cause it's one I tested these lines prior to. Can you hear me, sis?
07.
Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna wait a minute and try to give my sister a chance, the opportunity to call back in, because I don't know what I'm doing over here. Well, I do know what I'm doing, but my lines is a little off. I have a bad headache, and I wasn't gonna do the show. Okay, here she goes. Hey, I'm sorry about that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm sorry. I had the mute button on. I have a slight headache.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't going to even do the show tonight because my head was hurting, but this was a topic.
Man, you pushing through.
Yeah, I'm pushing through. I have a headache, and I wasn't going to do the show, but I was like, nah, I gotta do it. So I popped the leave, and hopefully it'll kick in a minute. But again, people, this is my sis, Nick, joining the show tonight. And Nick, the mic is yours. What do you have to say about this topic?
Well, if you don't mind, can I go in a little deeper?
You could go very deep, as deep as you want.
I guess one thing is, as I get older, and as you get older, you start to reevaluate your life, and see where you went wrong, how you got to where you are, why you continue to improve on yourself. And one thing that
sis.
I remember is...
Sis, are you on speaker?
I am. I need to get off?
Yeah.
Is this better?
Yes, that's better. It was echoing.
All right. But, like for me, as I reevaluate, things I've done in my life, a lot of situationships and relationships I had didn't even last 6 months. And, when you talk about lesbian bed death, that kind of all relates to, this could be the beginning of the end, because that intimacy isn't there, that passion isn't there like the time when y'all first met. And I know with us women, we can be real passionate really, really quick, which is why we always get the label of you all. So when we both cupcake it, and we both, we on the phone cupcaking all day, and then we can't wait to see each other, and we just screwing like rabbits back to back to back to back, and we can't get enough of each other. Now it's 6 months down the line, you've about done everything. Y'all don't really even go anywhere because we've been cooped up in the house, cupcaking or whatever, now it's old. So it's kind of like this is just my opinion, my conjecture. I could be wrong. But it's like we wear ourselves out, as a whole. Not everybody, but as a whole, I think like we wear ourselves out too early. We don't do anything together. We don't have enough time apart to even have something to talk about, which is why we find ourselves just holding the phone sometimes, how we used to do that back in the day. But, it's even though us women can get passionate, it's important that we try to find that happy medium of space early, because it's hard for me to have sex with anybody without any sort of anticipation. You know what I'm saying? That build up. And it becomes a chore when you don't feel that anymore. You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly.
This is just me, because I used to use the excuse if I have a low sex drive, and it wasn't I have a low sex drive, but it's amazing how high my sex drive gets when there's somebody new that comes into the equation that I haven't touched yet.
Exactly.
So I just think it's important that us as women, we should be still, even though sometimes in the beginning we don't want to, it's still important to have that space and continue to be an individual, so that when you come together, you'll have something to share. You'll have that build up. We don't need to have sex 3 times a day.
Right.
You know what I mean? What are you looking forward to after that?
Right, you're doing it.
For sure.
Yeah, and okay, let me ask you this, because when I posted this on the wall, someone else also said that sometimes it leads to that situation because some women use sex as a part of control. Like, I'm not going to have sex with you if you don't do X, Y, Z. And after so many times of doing that, then eventually it leads up to bed death, because the other person starts to just get turned off and get into a space where they just don't want it no more, because they feel like, I have to do this in order for you to have sex.
Yeah, so it's like now we're using intimacy as a weapon, as a tool of leverage. But at the end of the day, it's like, so how real was it between you all without that? With me, if I have a connection with somebody, I don't need to be having sex with you that damn often. I'm more afraid of losing you, because you play an important part in my life, as opposed to, if we don't have sex or not. It's like, how real is it? What are we in the relationship for?
Okay.
That's just my sense. But
no, I agree. We had conversations about this before. I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. So, ladies, we still need our own space. We still need our own space. It's important. It's healthy.
So in those situations where you said you used and told people you had a low sex drive because you had lost interest in having sex with them, but then somebody new came, and then all of a sudden it spiked again. In any of those situations where it got low, did you ever rekindle? Did it ever come back, or no?
It would come back, but it wouldn't always be the same, because even though, we may have talked some things through and gotten through whatever, as I'm older now, so I can let things go a little bit easier. But back then, it was more like, okay, we cool, but it's like that little hurdle that we went over, I'm still feeling that. So it's still not the same. And, but I'm not saying it's not possible, but that's my experience.
Oh, okay.
I do absolutely think that things can be rekindled, especially if, both of you are honest with yourselves and with each other. And this is an effort that you want to, you want to continue your relationship. You want to make it stronger. If you both are in it for that, and you're both committed to that and doing the work, I think it's absolutely possible.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. Did you have anything else to add?
Nah, I might call back later on.
after we get
that might trigger something.
Yeah, they might trigger something, because I got a couple of other people
it might trigger something else.
I cut off, so I'm trying to call them back and let them talk, because I cut them off a minute ago as well.
Okay.
I was like, okay.
Okay, well, I'm listening.
Okay.
All right, thanks, sis.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
My little sis, always support and appreciate her. Okay, it was like 2 other people I cut off. They was all calling at the same time. So Are you ready to join the show, or you just gonna sit over there with your camera? Because I need to, like, you ready to join the show? Okay, y'all, Jessica ready to, you know what we talking about. I know because you've been posting about it. Are you on live? Is that live? Okay, thank you. Because I'm looking a hot mess because I got a headache. And I was hoping you did not have that on live. Okay, your mic is up. Your mic is up. So you could get ready and join the show. And I'm going to try to get these other people back on the line. Because I got some missed calls on here a minute ago. You know, I got a slight headache. I wasn't going to do the show. But people was asking and ready and waiting. So I pushed through for the supporters. I decided to go on ahead on and push through. Your mouth got to be, because you know you very soft-spoken. So, yeah, get that mic up by that mouth because she very soft-spoken. And you comfortable? We don't hear you.
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay, let me make sure that your mic is on because I don't hear you. It's on. Huh? Yeah, dog. This ain't no test session. We are live.
Oh.
You need to start talking.
Oh, hey.
But I'm not understanding why I'm not hearing you. Let me see. Say something, because I'm not hearing you at all, and I know they not.
Hey, Dontrella, how you doing?
I tested that mic. Okay, say something again.
Hey, Dontrella, how you doing?
Okay, it look like, sound like it's moving, so go ahead.
Hey.
Just all you gonna say is, hey, are you joining the conversation?
I am. I'm just checking it out. Like, that was cool, what she said. I agree.
Okay, people. Again, we're talking about lesbian bed theft over here. And again, let me see. I'm going to find some music to play right quick while I see if I could get these other callers back on the line. I thought Jessica was about to talk, but she just sitting here smiling. So, okay, I hope this is the person calling back. Hello.
Hi, Don. Hi. I'm joining in on the topic. This is Love. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing? If you have us on speaker, can you take it off speaker so we can hear you?
Okay. All right. All right.
Just waiting for her to take it off speaker. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah. What I wanted to say, I don't know, I don't want to go off focus with this, but now I've been with this person. Well, now she's my wife for 14 plus years. It's really high. Our communication is better than ever now. Our communication is better than it has ever been before. Far as now with sex with her, if she's not in the mood, she will still please me. And once she started getting a reaction from me, it started turning her on. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're just listening.
Okay. And the thing is that my wife went through menopause in her mid-30s. So she's 48, and I will be 48 in September, and I'm just the opposite of what she went through. My sex drive is very high, and our communication was like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, we went through some up and down. When we was down, I was out. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was out, you know, so. But she hung in there. She hung in there. I hung in there. And, you know, when we came back, she came back. You are my wife. it happened so quick. She said, I'm not losing you. I'm not losing you. I'm not losing you.
That's what's
I'm
up.
not.
So did y'all ever come to any kind of arrangement where you could step outside, or you just left for a while and came back?
You know, I'm going to say it like this. I wasn't the type of person that would, can I let me, I'm just going to do. You know, that's how I felt then. You know, I mean, that's just who I was. That's who I was. But now that person is laid down because I do respect my wife. You know, I never brought anybody home. I never went out. I never left out saying I'm about to go do something with somebody. It wasn't like that. You know, I just...
Yeah, I worked through it.
I just, you know, but we went through all that. We got past all that. I mean... She's not no angel either, though. You know, I mean, but I mean, I'm not gonna make myself look like the bad person. Then you get all these calls in about me. No. No, she did her own thing too now. But at the end of the day, she was one of the women that raised my son, who's 30 now, and he's going 31. And, I mean, we went through a whole lot of things. And you know what? Communication is the key. And my wife was born in Chula, Mississippi. She came to Chicago in 8th grade. And she grew up in Chicago. But she still has that family value. You know, she's a Southern woman, you know. And to deal with someone like me, she wasn't used to that, you know. Yeah. Of course, she had a lot of women. She's from the West Side. She had a lot of women. But when she met me, it was just different. I was her challenge. I was basically her challenge.
Let me ask you, is there anything you guys did differently sexually to get back to the place that you were trying to get to?
Let me clear myself. I'm sorry. Yes, actually, she's, if you would like to label her, a stud, and I'm a dominant woman, okay? I don't like to put labels on myself, but people will call me a femme. Okay, fine, but in the bed, I'm very controlling. I'm very controlling. I'm very, very controlling. My attitude is this. If you want to do me, I want to do you back. You know, I mean, I want to get the same thing you get. You know, and this grown folks live talk. If you want to strap me, I want to strap you. So it was no penetration with her at all. You know. But me being the person that I am, I want to strap a lot. You know, I did what I did. I'm trying to keep it clean and, you know, respectful. But I did those
is this my
things.
Virgo friend?
Yeah, but come on, Don.
I thought so. Because, you know, on the phone, only numbers come up. And now as you talking, I'm like, okay.
We got to remember to ask them.
You should be my boss now. Come on now, Don.
Yeah. I had to wait a minute and let you talk for. I had to let you talk for a minute because only the phone number had came up, and I didn't want to just holler out a name. So, but I know who you are, my Virgo friend. Okay.
But I left a message and said my name. What was you asking me, love, sweetheart?
Do you think part of your sexual miscommunication was that you were not satisfied because you were not able to express yourself fully during sex with her?
No, I don't. First of all, when we met, she wanted me to be a pillow princess. Here's my thing when it comes to a lot of studs. You know you guys want to bust and feel good just like a femme. I cannot be a pillow princess. I don't know how. I want to receive and give. It's boring, you know, but that's how she try to that's how it started off. I'm like, I'm not used to this, But I hope I'm answering your question because I can't really hardly hear you.
Her question.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you have. Can you hear her now?
Yes.
Okay. I was asking if you thought that being stuck in that pillow princess position felt limiting to you so that you couldn't express yourself fully. Do you think that's why?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay. So do you think that led to the lesbian bed death?
It led to when, honey?
Do you think that led to the lesbian bed death?
Yeah, I'm being as honest as I can be with you. I could just tell you, I just recently stopped doing a lot of things that I used to do 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my wife just got married April the 21st of this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I can tell you that the love was still there. This woman, we both work, but she's a provider. She believes in home. She believes in, everything. But sex was always controlling, just say, for instance, let's just hypothetically say this. She don't think it's okay to be on the bottom. We had problems. Yeah, we actually went to counseling. We went through a lot of counseling. We went through a lot of things to try to help with some of the problems that we was having because we really wanted to keep our relationship. No, it's not 100% about sex, but yes, sex is a part of it. Sex is a part of it, people would say, sex is not part of the relationship. It's love. Yes, you got to be in love and love the person first, But you talking about, I went like a year without even having sex with her before. I went a year without having sex with her before, and I was sleeping with someone else. Well, 2 other films. But,
wait, you said you were sleeping with femmes?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want, I'm a feminine woman, but I'm very dominant. I'm only. You all have this show, and I love that you have a show, and I'm glad that I finally got called to get this information. And I'm like, okay, how do you get on and talk? And because I was hearing the other young ladies speak and things like that, I'm like, okay, you just call a number, and I'm like, oh wow, I cannot get it. And finally, Dawn was saying something about some other people had called, and she was gonna go ahead and back, so I called back because. I have talked to Dawn before when she put up posts back before she got married and before she met her wife, and she knew little details about me. And then I'm very private about my life. People would be like, okay, why you don't put up a lot of pictures with you and your wife? My private life don't have anything to do with Facebook. It really don't. I put up what I want to put up. I'm not trying to go off track, but I can tell you another thing. I was able to get she said flip her, but I didn't flip her. But anyhow, I got her to understand, and no, I didn't use sex as a tool.
And that's very, not to cut you off, and that's very, very important, and that's what me and the other caller was talking about. People should not use sex as a tool, because when you start to use it as a tool, or you start to make it feel like they are obligated, or you start to make it feel as if it's work, then it's a big turnoff for a bit turn off for the other person. And something else you mentioned earlier that I want to go back to is about when you said she did not want to be she wanted you to be a pillow princess and she didn't want to be on the bottom. And that goes back to again communicating, which is what me and my sister was talking about the other caller, communicating your sexual needs up front. And that is something we typically do not do up front. We start off, we passionate, we into the person, so we just started having sex, but we never communicate with that person. We might have some little kinky things that we like to do, but we so busy trying to satisfy that other person needs, and sometimes we find ourselves satisfying needs that aren't really real needs because we are not comfortable enough in our own sexuality or comfortable enough in our own skin to have the conversations with our mates about what satisfies us, what turns us on. You know, you might be borderline BDSM. You might BDSM. You might like, you know, some soft handcuffs or a little choking. This might be certain things that you like, but you're not expressing that in the beginning. But you have to be able to have those conversations and to be open to what your partner desires are. You know, your partner, just because she's a femme, she may be a femme that want to touch. And then femmes need to be aware up front, because sometimes they get into these relationships and they don't realize that they're dating don't touch me's. And the don't touch me's is not really honest and upfront in the beginning, because they, you know, they'll tease. They'll let you do a little touching, and then here it is 3 months or 6 months into a relationship. They don't want you touching them at all. They just want you to lay there and do whatever. So nah, you pretty much stayed on track with the conversation. Somebody dinging. That's got a couple of more people want to get on the line, but I appreciate you calling in, my Virgo friend. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for the
Thank
conversation.
you so
I will
much.
continue you're welcome. I will continue to listen on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
So, let's see. What you thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, I really think a lot of the problem is that people don't use their mouths. They don't tell people what they want. Like from the very beginning, you have to figure stuff out. You know, everybody goes into a relationship with their representative. And I think because of fear of rejection, we don't want to set up all these boundaries. We don't want to be honest and say, I'm this way, I'm this way, I'm this way. I don't plan on changing this. And come into any type of agreement before they get involved with one another. There's no actual agreement for how things are going to be. Maybe because we fear labels these days. Maybe we feel like, you know, we'll look closed-minded or whatever.
And that's what we was just talking about when you said labels. A lot of masculine identified women, for some reason, feel like they're supposed to go into the bedroom and they're supposed to have full control. Full control of the bedroom. They're not supposed to be touched, because that's how they keep control, or for some reason they compare not being touched to being a man. But all the men that I know, my gay straight male friends, they like they little wink wink play with. So I don't even know.
You did not say wink wink.
Yeah, they like they wink wink play with. So I don't even know where the comparison of not being touched came with. They compared that to a man, because men, they like their nipples touched, all of that. Like, and I'm talking about even straight men, they like to be touched. So I'm kind of.
I think maybe for women, they feel like they don't want to show. I think there's two parts to that. You know, one is they don't want to show vulnerability. But the bigger part of that is not wanting to surrender power and control in a relationship. And a lot of people think if you allow a femme to bring you to orgasm, then you going out like, you know, like a punk or something.
But women bring men to orgasms all the time. So again, I never.
But I don't think it's so much
comparison.
about the comparison to men so much as not wanting to be vulnerable
okay.
to a femme. I think people think that that's going to shift the dynamic, so that if this femme can make me scream and cry, she not gonna listen to me when I tell her to do something or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people think that. I don't know.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Somebody, I don't know who this was trying to call in. You could try to call back in, or I'm going to try to let me go back on here and see, because we had another caller. I don't want to call the wrong number, have the wrong person on here. I had something I wanted to read as well. And then I had another caller for my No Chaser that's supposed to call in and share your No Chaser, because it was a story that I was a bit confused on. But again, I appreciate all those that are emailing me those good no chasers. And I had one in reference. I'm looking right here now in reference to the lesbian sex dying out and her situation, what happened. And again, these the statistics and how about this is real. It was a sociologist, Pepper Swartz. She coined the term in her 1983 book, American Couples. What she did was she went around and she did a survey of couples, asking questions about their sexual life and intimacy and passion in the relationships. And again, it's the 1983 book, American Couples, and it's also in the LGBT Stats book. I don't have the book in front of me, but these were surveys. So when I'm saying this, I'm not speaking in general, because I it's real, and some may be myth, but it's real. And how they came up with it again was from some polls that they did and stats reports that they took, asking questions to come up with the numbers. And of those numbers, when they came up with it, lesbians was at the bottom. They was at the bottom. They were saying that typically after that first year, going into that second year, close to that second year, they start losing intimacy and the sex die. And I'm sorry, for me, sex matters in the relationship, and I know a lot of people might say it does not matter, and I'm gonna be an asshole and I'm gonna be petty. Typically, when a person is in a relationship and they saying sex don't matter, it's because they ain't getting no ass. It's just that simple. They ain't getting no ass, so of course it's not. You gonna say it don't matter, because again, that goes back to not communicating your needs. So you get to that point where you feel like it does not matter when it really does matter, but you gonna say it don't matter. I guess to make yourself feel better about the situation or whatever. And like my sister said earlier, you start making excuses like I have a low sex drive and things like that. But then when some new ass come along, now all of a sudden your sex drive is spiked again. And it's spiked again. But when you was just in this other relationship, you saying sex don't matter. It's about bills and being a family and being making a commitment. Yeah, all those things matter. But sex is a part of a relationship. I don't care how people want to look at it. It's a part of it. It's something needs to be communicated up front. Because I had someone earlier that mentioned she started dating someone and the person, and it was kind of odd, and I really wanted her to call in to discuss that, because it was a very unique situation. She said that she started off, she was dating someone, and in the midst of dating this person, I want to say going into close to that year and a half, going into that second year, all of a sudden the person was asexual. The person claimed that they were asexual, but she said in the beginning when she started dating the person, they were fucking like 2-3 times a day. Now a year and a half into the relationship, the person wanted to tell her she was asexual. It was a unique situation, so I'm not going to really get into details with it, but I'm just using that as an example of not communicating, because maybe that person felt that way in the beginning, but they wasn't upfront with the individual, because they might have been feeling this individual, wanted to be with this individual, but they took away the option for her to be in that sexless relationship. You cannot take away a person's option. If you know you're not really into sex or whatever like that, then just get somebody that's compatible. And that goes back to being how sexually compatible are you with the people that you get into these relationships with. So if you know you are not really into sex or you're asexual, then you need to date another asexual person. If you're a don't touch me, then you need to date a pillow princess. If you're a pillow princess, don't date a person that likes to be touched. Again, all this goes back to communicating and knowing if you're sexually compatible with the person. Because again, in the beginning, we meet somebody, the sex drive is a little, we doing stuff because we want to get this person, we want to bring this person in. So we're not being upfront and honest and communicating what we are. Like, I'm a touch me. I dated a pillow princess, tried to date with twice, but one of them was not up front, the other one was up front, and she basically said up front why we was talking for some reason. I don't know, she assumed I was a don't touch me, but this was just in general conversation. We had not done anything yet because at that time, y'all know, I was still working with my 6-month rule. We had not done anything as of yet, but we was having a general conversation, and I don't recall how the conversation came about, but we was having a general conversation about giving head. And when she was like, I don't eat pussy, that was the end of it for me. You don't eat pussy, we ain't ain't no sense of us dating, ain't no sense of us just going anywhere. It's done. Because I don't even, like I said, recall how that conversation, but I'm glad that she was honest and she was upfront with me in the beginning. But when I asked her, okay, if you don't do it, do you not like it done to you? Oh, of course, I love it done to me. It's the best thing ever. But how you gonna want somebody to be sucking up on you, but you saying you don't do it? So it just was a situation I decided I was not gonna get myself involved in, because I had already been through that growing up with my first relationship, where I was pretty much almost groomed to be a don't touch me. But as I got older and grew into my own sexuality and came comfortable in my skin and my body, things changed, luckily for me. But again, it's about communicating, knowing that you're compatible. If the chemistry is there, the compassion is there, the intimacy has to be there, seducing. Jessica, you gonna join the conversation? Or you just gonna sit there and take videos?
I'm sorry, you're doing so good.
But do you have anything to say about what I just said?
I do. I mean, I think that was fantastic. You're so great. But I think we have to remember, I only have a career because people, I won't say people fall out of love. I'll say people run out of love. They run out of love on reserve, the kind you can just like serve up on the ready. Sometimes you have to reinvest in your love. And that's what I do with my Punani project. And it does keep me very busy. It makes it hard for me to make the time for myself. So I'm a bit of an oxymoron when it comes to discussions about, making sure that you keep that fire alive, But one thing is for certain. People always looking for something new. This is one of those societies. This is a society where it's okay. I think many years ago, people were, there was pressure to stay in relationships because we as women were concerned about our reputations. But now that is not an issue anymore. People don't really care what people say. People don't care what society says. We will go through sexual partners so quickly that for a lot of people is giving us caution, to not want to get serious right away. So I think a lot of times people hold back for that reason, because you don't know where this person been, you don't know how long they're gonna be with you, and all of that. I think that's a really big issue, because when you get with somebody and you're gonna be together forever, or you feel like you're gonna be together forever, you're more likely to be completely open. That's what I think. You think they're more open, but they said
from my research and what I was reading, it says with lesbian couples, it's the opposite. That they get together, and the longer they together, the less intimacy is there. The sex dies, like it dies. And I don't know about straight couples, but it definitely said that it started to decrease. It started to go down.
You know what I think
when
it is? I think
they
it's
get
women.
together.
I don't think it's really so much a lesbian thing. I think it's women, and I think I was married.
Mm-hmm.
And to a guy, and I have to say, when you're in a relationship with a guy, it's a little bit different. Some of it is just how easy it is to start engaging in sex, and some of it is that because they are dominant, a woman is less likely to say no. And I think some of it is because the connection that women have with each other is so emotional. Every fucking thing has to be right. It's like, we've been getting along. Have we been, respectful to each other? Or is this something we're going to do? And then you are usually paying attention to your children, your household. Like, there's a lot that you have to do, and you have to work very hard as women, two women working together, living together, supporting one another. It's very difficult to take the time to make love. And I think making love to a woman is more work.
It's more work.
It's more work. I posted about that earlier when I was telling people to join us tonight. I feel like sex with a woman, if you're doing it right, is more work than just opening your legs and letting some guy just slide in. You know what I mean? That it's not really like the same thing. But I think most of it has to do with how emotional women are and stuff like that. I don't know, Don. I also think women, I don't know if it's a lesbian thing so much as it's women start to get very persnickety about their vaginas as they get older. That happens in straight relationships too, because they talk about it. Like, they make fun of it. All the comedians talk about it. Like, once you get married, you stop having sex. So guys say that too. I think it's women.
I heard a lot of people say once you get married, you stop having sex.
So you know how I just love hearing Tiara Christine Harris talk about sex by invitation, because I think it's a very fresh idea. Nikki Morgan too. Like, they have a very fresh perspective, I think, on sexuality. But a lot of us, we use sex to hook people. That's how society kind of positions.
Right, that's what we were saying in the beginning. You're doing stuff that you might let somebody put handcuffs on you, knowing that's not what you like, but you're doing this because you want to get this person.
Right. But that's with anything. Like I said, you bring your representative. It's like, what does the job require? It's like when you go to a job, right? When you first get there, you doing everything. You going above and beyond.
Yeah.
You filling the water jug. You doing all this extra shit, And then a year later at that same job, you barely doing enough,
Yeah, you just doing enough just to keep the job.
You're just doing enough to keep the job.
Going above and beyond.
Yeah, and because, our society is this capitalistic society. We all want new shiny shit. And that includes new shiny pussy. That's why you can be in a sexless relationship and still go out to the club and meet somebody and be completely turned on. And that's why you think a lot of people get in those new relationships and they go, oh my God, this is what I've been missing. It's fantastic. And you'll leave your good wife and you'll go
that
to
80,
be with
20.
this. It's the 80-20 for real, because you get blinded. You think, oh, this is great. And then you figure out, oh, this is the same old shit, because we're all human and we're wired pretty much the same way.
Yeah, that's true, because at home or in marriage or in a relationship, you getting that 80%, the 20% that's missing is usually the sex. It's usually the sex.
I think maybe
or the attention, the compassion, and
I think the connection, just the spiritual connection in general,
and
to
I'm
include conversation, sex, energy exchange, touching.
Because I posted about that on my page, and somebody came back and said that they disagreed. They didn't think sex had anything to do with spiritual connection. They took it to
everything.
They took it to a totally different direction that I was not even going in. I was talking about in relationships and just having sex in general and connecting with your partner on a spiritual level, that sex was important because that was how you connected. And sex is not, intimacy is not just about sex. But the person went all the way left field and started talking about rape and being molested and all of that. But with me, I was still trying to explain to her, at the end of the day, it's still, even if a person has been raped or molested, it's still a spiritual connection. And why, if it's not a spiritual connection, then those who have been, affected by that, it wouldn't go on with them. I told her it is, and I'm thinking she got what I was saying, because if somebody's been raped, that stays with them. It's now a part of them. What happened? It's not like, oh, okay, if it's just a physical thing and it happened, then it'll be easier to let go of stuff. But when it's a spiritual connection, it's not easy to let go of anything, if y'all understand what I'm saying. It still stays with the person. It could have a bad effect. Some people at the time get over it, but it's still going to be a part of them. Anytime somebody does anything to you sexually, it's going to be a part of you. So, but she was saying that it was all physical. She was looking at it more so like sex was just a physical thing. It had nothing to do with spirituality.
I'm a rape and molestation survivor, and there was a long time where I prided myself on being able to separate the two. It really wasn't until my partner died and I met Nikki Morgan when I really started making that connection between what was going on in my soul and what was going on in my body, or what was going on in my soul that was making me treat my body the way that I was treating it. And that included sexual behaviors, like having sex with someone you don't really want to. I went through a self-healing process that changed my mind about a lot of things and changed my attitude about a lot of things. And I'm still, as a survivor, I am still torn a lot of times. If someone makes me feel like I am required to have sex with them, it is a problem for me. I really need it to be something that we both want to do and we're drawn together by energy. Other than that, I feel like it's some type of duty, or it messes it up for me. And this is, like, I've been going through this since, a couple years since I met Nikki, and really trying to decide how I want to be, because I was what they call serial monogamous.
A serial monogamous?
No.
No.
No. A serial relationship person. I don't know.
I think it's the same thing. Serial monogamous.
Not really.
Not really.
Because like monogamy means you just with that person.
Oh, okay.
I was still like carrying a lot of different things.
Emotional
with me.
baggage.
A lot of things, yes,
okay.
with me. And at the core of it, like I was saying about Tiara, at the core of it is something that I think a lot of women have in common, and that is looking at sex by negotiation versus sex by invitation.
Right.
And sex by negotiation, you do it all the time. Women do it all the time, even when we don't realize we're doing it, where we're drawn for some other reason, even if that reason is just to control that person in the moment, versus wanting to connect with that person. There is a big difference.
I'm sorry, I hear you. I was gonna read some of her inboxes, anonymous inbox. They said they was in it says, I have been in a sexless relationship for 7 years. Will be 8 years in November, not because I want it that way.
7 years?
7 years in a sexless relationship. So my question to the inbox, have you cheated? What is your outlet? Or are you just 7 years celibate? Like, what is your outlet if you can inbox me the answer to that question, please do. What is your sexual outlet?
Let me ask a question. Is lesbian bed death, does that extend to women, lesbian women who choose to be abstinent?
Well, if they choose to be abstinent, they need to let that person know prior to going into a relationship. Like during my term, when I was celibate during those years, and when y'all said I was being controlling on the last show, but I did let them know up front that I was, so they knew. So talking to me and dating me, they knew that right up front, because again, like my sister said, what you do typically, and even Stoney was saying it on her live today, typically when you first meet a lesbian, and that's what they say, we U-Haul, they go in with passion talking about sex. So I let that be known up front, because generally in most of my conversations, I had conversations with women I hadn't even physically gone on a date yet, and they was already talking about their pussy was wet. Oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry, but I'm celibate. So, yeah. I'm being so serious. That's what they said. Okay, let's see what the answer is. Have not cheated. Oh. Aww. They have not. They have not cheated. Thank you. And, okay, and then the other one here, if I can find it, it was, somebody's typing. I'm sorry if y'all hear that in the background. Let me try to turn this down so y'all don't hear that in the background. The other one said that the wife slowly stopped engaging in sex. So to relieve her sexual tension, she got into porn. She was already into porn, but that is what I used to relieve myself day after day. Whenever I was horny, I would just pop in a porn movie, here and there. No gay man porn, which I know is very common and popular for lesbians. I was just having that conversation with somebody. But I engaged in porn. Later on, down the line, when she came back to me wanting to engage in sex, it was very hard for me to get into her or get turned on without watching a porn tape. So typically we had already gone a little over a year without having sex, and during that year, again, I engaged in watching porn and masturbation. Dang. So now she is upset because I think I'm addicted to porn, because I have to watch porn in order to get in the mood to engage in sex with my partner. Wow.
I told you that porn stuff is addictive. It's like any other addiction, like drugs or anything.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's something that you do that evokes a visceral response. You know what I'm saying? So that it can get habit forming and addictive. So you definitely have to be careful fucking with porn.
Right. And then I'm going to go back to the person who said they was in the 7-year relationship, because they just commented on what I said. Okay, they had not cheated, and they said they use probably food and anger as their outlet and resentment. And they think porn that keeps her away. So they think that the person that's not giving them any is also addicted to porn. So, yeah, that's sad.
Well, I want to shift just a little bit, because I also saw a comment earlier on your Facebook feed, and I think there's a bigger question here. Not
you saying?
Yeah, I think there's.
You saw one about what she just said about porn, and now she needs porn in order to get.
It was something you
stimulated.
It was something you said about money.
Oh, okay.
And I think, like porn, money and material things can also be not just addictive, but necessary. You know, well, as necessary as an orgasm is for people. You know what I'm saying?
Money is necessary to have an orgasm. Is that what you're saying?
For some people, yeah. For some people, they.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and read those. Okay.
You
but it still goes to the same, and that question was generated from the same conversation about Les. So it's really still on the topic. That conversation was generated because someone said that at one point they was making over $60,000 She was making over $60,000 a year, and the job. Oh, that's another comment. The job that she was working for downsized and closed out her department. So the job kept her, but she went to another department. But when she went to this other department, she took a huge pay cut. So instead of making over $60,000, she is now making a little over $40,000. And she noticed like she had they sex life was pretty much good up until this shift in her job and her income. and they're not married, they're just in a relationship. But she said she noticed they live together, but she noticed a big shift in a thing. And then when normally the person was always willing, they was having sex on a regular basis, the sex started dropping, and it started dropping. So then when she went to the person, or they got into an argument, the young lady said that to her, because she said, damn, you what's going on? You act like because I ain't taking you on all these fancy dates or something, I need to take you out on a fancy date in order to get some ass. And the girl pretty much, but she flat out said, well, yeah, you need to do something to make up for that $20,000 that you no longer making no more if you want to get some ass.
Hey, I told you.
And that's what the girl, her exact words to her was in the middle of their argument, money make my pussy wet. That was the post that I made, and that's what I was responding to. Yeah, that's what she said to her. Money make my pussy wet, so you need to do something to make up for this difference that you're not making. But then that's kind of fucked up, because then you saying that the whole time that you've been with this person, you basically only been with them for financial reasons. That it wasn't no love or nothing in the relationship. Because how you gonna cut off the sex because she
saying that?
Yes, she is. She lost her job, and now you saying I ain't giving you no more ass but she still got a job. The rent is still paid. All the bills are still paid. I don't think she's
saying that.
Okay, what is she saying then, Miss?
I mean, maybe she could be saying that, but I choose to look at it differently, because money, power, confidence are huge aphrodisiacs, things that you do not want to overlook. You don't want to feel like you fucking on a charity case or something. Like,
how's she fucking on a charity case? You could cuss on this, because I did mark this show explicit.
Okay,
so you can't cuss on here. I wish some of these people that's inboxing me called somebody said it's prostitution. If they need to get paid and money make they pussy wet, it's prostitution.
I don't believe that. I believe that just like you come into a relationship with baggage, you come into a relationship with your strengths. So a moneymaker is who you are. That's part of your DNA. If you are a boss and she is attracted to a boss, and all of a sudden you become a janitor, she has a right to decide that is not for her, because it does not turn her on, and that can directly affect your sex life.
But who says that the person is no longer in the boss because because something happened out of their control to take a pay cut?
Her pussy says so, apparently.
Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you. I don't know.
I'm just saying that's not prostitution. That is like a person knowing what turns them on, and knowing their worth, and knowing their value. That's all.
Nah, I don't agree.
What she can do, that, if she's trying to be with, well, you said they're not married or whatever.
No, they're not married.
That might be different.
Here it is. I found the post. It said, I asked people what was they thoughts on it, but it said money make my pussy wet. And I'm just going to go over it quickly, and then I'm also go back to the post I made about lesbian bed theft and read some of those comments. One of the comments posted on my Facebook wall, don't troll Les Elegance, and you can also read these comments. Felicia said, no one for me, so she's not gonna date anybody. Charles Jackson, hey, shout out to Charles out in Chicago, great photographer. If you're in Chicago and you need a photographer, hit up Charles Jackson. Yes, I just did a shameless plug on my own radio show. But he's an amazing photographer. I had the opportunity to work with him back when Les Elegance magazine first kicked off, which I've been pondering, and yeah, that's another subject. But anyway, he said, how wet does it get for a roll of pennies? Because pennies is money. Zion said, I assume for the right price you can have it all you want if you want it. That her loyalty is based on funds, and she pretty much put it out there in front. Deborah said, I never forget about 15 years ago, my aunt, now 66, once said, if Bill, my uncle, dies at any time, I will be sad, but Jehovah knows I will be in someone's mall walking down each aisle, coming all over myself because I will be one paid woman for life. Wow. When my aunt sees money, she's like a crackhead. Her mouth begins to move, but nothing comes out. Brooklyn said it's the oldest profession, and yeah, we know what profession she's speaking of, prostitution.
So, like, what is a housewife? A prostitute?
Okay, let me read one more comment, then let me think about that. We're going to come back to that one. Michelle, and I always love her comment, she said, nothing is wrong with it. It's not different than anything else one might say makes them wet. I'm not about slut shaming or dictating someone's desire or erotic kinks.
I love her.
Yeah, I like her. She's very, very open-minded. Shout out to Michelle out in California. Okay, this is an inbox I'm going to read right quick. It says, so she could care less about the person she's with if it's money that make her pussy wet. If you had to take a pay cut for whatever reason, you're probably feeling down anyway. Money make my pussy wet doesn't help. And that is true. It's not that she's not being supportive, because she's basically saying, pressuring you. You already stressed. You already may be feeling some type of way because you used to making a certain amount of money. But now you got to still pay the bills, and the bills were still covered, but you just don't have that extra money right now to go on fancy trips, and you going to tell your partner, money make my pussy. Like, where's the motivation at?
Depending on how you look at it, it could be motivation. She could be like, baby, money make my pussy wet. And then the girl is like, oh, so I got to take care of my baby. Let me go, like, tell my boss I deserve better. Or whatever. Like, it may be the push that person needs. You don't know their life.
Nah, but again, I just don't agree with that. When doing my dating process, if a woman came to me and started talking about I had to pay a bill to get some ass, which it was already hard for me to give up the booty anyway, because I had my, my reasons. I needed to be emotionally attached. I need emotional, some type of emotional feeling. Things had to be in a certain line for me anyway. So for me, if I'm talking to you and I'm getting to know you, and I appreciate those that are honest and upfront and let me know, hey, you got to pay my light bill in order to get some ass, then I'm going to pass on paying that light bill, because I ain't finna pay your light bill to get no ass.
Well, if you fucking for a light bill, you are definitely not a professional hoe.
Oh, the inboxes are coming in. I'm going to go back again. You're tuned in to LE Radio, and I'm your host, Dawn, and I'm joined here today with Jessica, and we're talking about lesbian bed death. And okay.
And wait, can I interject here? So since we're on the topic, and we're talking about lesbian bed death, I want to say money stresses can be a huge deterrent from either party wanting to have sex for a few reasons. You're in a stressful situation. You really don't know if having sex is going to compound it or make it feel better.
Sex always makes it feel better.
Sometimes sex can make it feel better, but sometimes what if somebody is in the relationship thinking this is not going to work for me and I want to get out? And they start to make moves, and one of the moves you make is to, like, limit the amount of contact that you have. Like, sometimes people...
Yeah, sex is the first thing to go. Basically,
but sometimes people don't realize that they're doing it. Mm-hmm. They're just doing it subconsciously, like, in survival mode. Like, let me not...
But sex is the first thing to go. And that's in any relationship. Sex is usually the first thing to go.
I understand, but what I'm saying is in relationship to money, because you were talking about the post somebody sent you earlier, and what I'm saying is, slut shaming aside, if you have financial stresses as many women do, because in a relationship with two women, it's a lot of times not a huge income coming in. So any changes in whatever the foundation of what you need to survive as a family, any changes in that are going to disrupt sex, I believe. Like, it can definitely disrupt sex, because you're thinking, maybe this is not going to work out. Maybe, I don't have enough money to sustain this relationship. It causes stress. And actually, money is the number one cause of divorce in all relationships.
I got my own self on mute.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. Okay, this is the post that I made on January 21st. It says, lesbians usually fuck like rabbits, making babies within the first year. Passion on 100. Think on it. But that's very short-lived. Lesbian bed death. Lesbian couples in committed relationships generally have less sex than any other type of couples, and generally experience loss of intimacy the longer the relationship lasts. No sex, no passion, no intimacy. And I asked, how long do people think the length of that relationship lasts? Well, we just heard somebody said they've been in one for 7 years. And then we had the other young lady with that turned to porn. And I think they had been together like 4 years. But she's ready for a divorce now. She's ready. Stoney said it was sad. Tina said, I will be sure to tune in, okay. Shy said, Don, lesbian bed theft is very real. I definitely think sex lessons once you get into the routine of being a couple, but I think it often is withheld by one partner as a control mechanism. I'd love to hear some thoughts on that. And I'm going to open it up to see what somebody said they concur. Sheena said she concur. Angie Stone, June 30th, house party down here in Atlanta. Meet me there. I get out and dance to house music. Yeah, another shameless plug. DJ Angie Stone from Chicago, amazing artist, amazing DJ. If you want to hear some house music and you from Chicago, Baltimore, what is it, New York? Yeah, this is a shameless plug. Why you looking at me like that, Jessica? I'm doing a shameless plug. I'll post the flyer on the wall, June 30th in ATL, West End. Okay, so anyway, Angie said, I agree wholeheartedly. I am that jackrabbit, and my Sag other is withholding. We were way more active as fuck buddies, but there's always an issue with intimacy. Since we've been in a relationship, it's starting to become boring and overbearing. Yeah. Y'all thought you wanted to say something.
Me?
I thought you wanted to say something about it becoming boring. She said, I definitely, and then, let me see, Shy commented back. Oh no, I'm not done. I'm sorry. If you feel weird for being the more sexual person, thinking like, damn, we used to screw all day, every day. I feel like my ex withholding was manipulative and controlling for several reasons. But after so long, you don't want to break up because of sex. And this is true. A lot of times people stay in relationships, or women stay in relationships and they don't want to break up because, like you were saying earlier, you have other things invested. You might have kids that you have together, financially tied to each other. It's like other things that do hold a relationship together. But my question is, when sex is boring, hold on, before I get into the sex is boring part, let me read this. Says money stresses are real. It causes depression to a certain degree. So sometimes you want to have sex because you can't focus. You won't have sex because you can't focus. That's one thing. But money makes my pussy wet. Okay, let me hook up with someone who will pay half of the rent. So yeah. We are disagreeing on lesbian bed death. So we got somebody who said that her wife, they disagree. So hey, somebody out there ain't having boring, sexless sex, I guess.
They disagree that that you experience lesbian bed death after being together for a long time because they're still having a fantastic sex life?
They disagreeing. They said one person said they sex is boring, the other person saying that they sex life is great. So
and they talking about each other?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right here, if I'm reading that right, wait a minute. Let me go back and make. I'm gonna let you read this, and I'm gonna say something. Hold on.
Okay. I want to get back to this porn thing.
See if did I read that correctly? Is that?
Hey, Don, my wife and I are listening. We are disagreeing on the lesbian bed death thing. I think we do. She says we don't. Oh, I think they're trying to decide if they're having lesbian bed death or not. We have sex on average every 2 weeks. Hey, you're doing good, girl. No, I don't know if there's like some rule on how often you're supposed to do it, but
they said once a week. From my research, they said once a week. You're supposed to do it once a week.
I would like to do it like once a week, but sometimes your schedule doesn't allow it. Sometimes, that's a whole nother topic I was going to get into about our cycles and the emotional changes and menopause and all those things that are a factor when you're older.
Well, I got some
old
tips
enough to be in a relationship where lesbian bed death matters. You might be experiencing some, chemical changes going on in your system.
Yeah,
too.
but what are we doing? Like, what are tips? What are we doing when you feel like you're hitting that point? Like, what are some things that you can do to try to bring it back? Like, spend time together with no social media. Like, take a time a day. Like, I can't think of the couple name right now. I can't think of her name, but I know a couple in Chicago, and I'm also friends with them on social media, that on Sundays they do no phone, no social media, no nothing. But everybody probably can't do this. But on Sundays, if you talk to them on Sunday, you have to talk to them before 12 noon. Because from 12 noon and the rest of that day, from 12 noon up until midnight, is no communicating. That time is just their time. It's like 12. They still might spend some time or do some family with the kids because they have one daughter that's still at home with them. I think she's like 14, 15 or something, and 18-year-old. But on Sundays, and they alternate the days. Like this Monday might be on Sundays, but they pick one day out the week, and from 12 noon up until midnight, neither one of them is working on anything. They turn off their phones. They only take emergency phone calls. If it's an emergency, and that's it. But they not texting. They not on social media. They not hanging. It's just them sitting there they have dinner. They talking or whatever. And it's just that, like, during the rest of the week, they still communicate, but they take that time. So I want to know how people feel about that, about making time for intimacy. Even and then I know another couple that was saying that during the week when they come in at night after they relax or whatever, they take like an hour before when they get off work and they not working, they get home, they have dinner. When they having dinner and they eating together, whenever, it's not a set time, but whenever they having dinner, again, it's no taking pictures of food, it's no social media, it's no phones. They put their phones away, they sit at the table, they have dinner. Right before they go to bed or whatever at night, when they get ready to go to bed, again, they take a moment to wind down and do awareness checks with each other. How is your day? How is this going? They said, and these are things that they were telling me that they did to keep their sex life alive and to keep the intimacy with them. So what are your thoughts on that? Because you're looking like you want to say something.
Oh, I think that, that's great. Like, you should do great stuff together as often as you possibly can. And, make your significant other know that they are still important to you. I mean, that's true of any relationship, at any stage of any relationship. I just don't know if this is really a lesbian thing so much as it's a female thing.
So you think it's females in general?
Yeah, I just think they just can't get away with it with men the way they can get away with it with women. Because women when women are dealing with men, they are always in like, it's this weird kind of competition thing that women have with each other over men. And I think they just feel like they can't really get away with it because a guy is going to go out and mess around if you don't give it to him. With the women,
women go out and do it too.
Yeah, but you don't think so.
Why don't you think so?
I don't know.
Why don't you think so?
Because you know what? Probably because it's such an intimate.
You must be a really new lesbian because it happens every day. It happens more with them in lesbian relationships than it do, I think, with the guys. Guys, yeah, women cheat. Women cheat more than men. That's a whole nother conversation. But from my experience in dealing with people, having straight male friends and even gay male friends, just being friends with males, women cheat more. Me knowing women and having and the woman that cheats more is the feminine woman.
What?
It's the even in heterosexual, more women cheat on men and more feminine women cheat on the masculine women. The masculine, them studs ain't out there getting the ass.
I'm
studs
not even
gonna
gonna speak on this
and say they getting ass. See, now you done brought up a whole nother
I'm
subject.
team femme. I'm not.
Femmes are
I'm not
amazing.
taking this bait.
They are amazing fucking liars. They are professional
I'm not taking this
fucking liars.
Oh my God, you
women,
sound so angry right now.
Yes.
Look at your face. I'm about to film you.
Don't film me. I'm saying this because trust me. I know a lot of women. I know women that have used me as scapegoats and I didn't even know that they was using me and got bust out. But no, this is just me. This is just my opinion and from my experience. And phone is going up. Let's see what the comments are. And yep, they said they agree with me. They
agree
that the feminine woman cheat more. They cheat more than a masculine woman. The masculine identified, they cheat more than men. And I know women that have been married, heterosexual women, been married to their husband 15, 20 years and got a whole nigga on the side for the last 8 years. I know lesbians that a whole nigga on the side.
Not a part of one.
Not a part, but a whole nigga on the side and got a man that they come and they do it they so good at it. They go home. They not spending nights out like that, but they got a whole nigga on the side, but the whole nigga on the side know they got a man that they can go home with.
Okay, so if this is a hypothesis of yours, then
this is just my opinion.
But listen, does it stand to reason that maybe lesbian bed death is just one person is out running around and the other person thinks that the other person is out running around and then the energy gets off and then you can't connect?
Not in all cases. But
you're saying in most cases the femme is out cheating.
The femme will leave first. The femme will cheat first. This is just speaking from my experience in dealing with straight women and feminine women, because I have a lot of straight women friends who, again, they got men at home, and some of these women will have a whole woman on the side or they'll have a whole man on the side.
Before we go south with this, I want to pull it back to where we were.
Yeah, put it back.
Okay, so we're talking about things that you can do when you are experiencing.
They use their pussy and sex as a tool for leverage and to manipulate whatever their agenda is. That's what feminine women do. And I didn't say that. I just read that. Do you want to see? That is a inbox comment.
I'm not going to take this clickbait. I'm not going to take this clickbait because there are several things I could say right now, but I'm not going to. I'm about to stay positive real quick.
Okay, we're going to stay positive.
Get back on that. But first I want to say, I think the worst thing that you could do is
cheat.
No. Good. I think cheating actually could fix things quicker than porn. Cheating would be more definitive in your personal soul. Cheating would tell you, I'm cheating. This shit might be over. And you can start your healing process immediately with cheating. But with porn, no, it's like taking crack. You just bury your head in strange vaginas on the internet and penises or whatever you're watching and start having these fantasies about this and that and the other, distorting your very soul disrupting the possibilities of having anything normal and natural with your partner when you do get ready to have sex again, because you'll be picturing Chinese chicks or whatever.
Chinese chicks.
Or, I don't know. Like, it's crazy. I think porn is like the worst answer. However, there are certain things you could look for.
Why you think it's the worst answer? So you saying cheating is better than watching porn?
Yeah.
I don't.
Cheating is better than watching porn. I wouldn't want my partner to do either, because, you know, I don't want to catch no cases or nothing. But I'm just saying that porn could be a problem in the long run, you know, whereas cheating tells the person who's cheating.
Like with her,
it tells
now
you
she's
something is
addicted to
wrong.
It.
Now she got a whole nother problem.
Yeah, she
her
got
porn
a whole,
addiction.
Right, because, and I asked that question because her and the young lady been going back and forth through issues with it, and the wife wanted her to go to counseling. She said she wasn't going to counseling. But my question to her, because they separated now, and so she was like, well, we're going to have an open marriage till we get divorced or whatever, and they separated now. So my question to her was, are you seeing anybody else, or what are you doing now? Are y'all open to dating people? Are y'all trying to fix the relationship? What's going on? So, of course, the porn person is like saying that she pretty much is done with it. She don't want to, because she was like, when she was my turn on, she ignored me. She didn't want to. I'm just over it. I'm just not. She's just, whatever sexual desire she had for the wife, she said is not there no more. She says it's gone. It's dead. But she dated someone else, and I asked that question, like, have you engaged in sex with someone else? And she said, yes. I said, when you engaged in sex with that other person, did you need porn to do it? And she said no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she said no. So how is the porn? It was just,
they already made their decision and separated, and she's seeing somebody else.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the porn that fixed it. It was cheating. Well, it wasn't cheating at the time, but it was seeing somebody else.
Yeah, she ended
another
up,
human flesh.
Yeah, feeling of another. She was saying feeling of the
the reason
body.
The reason I say it's more practical to cheat is you're going into something that is possible for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're seeing somebody else, another human being. So the fantasy part is kind of out of the window. You're not.
What do you? I'm sorry. What do you
deluding
disagree
yourself.
with it? You said, hell no, I disagree, but I respect your opinion. What do you disagree with? The porn situation. And then the other inbox is, it's hard to compete with a computer.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If you cheat, you're dealing with somebody else who's flesh and bone, just like your wife.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're going into is a real possibility for you. And it gives you clarity on a couple things. One, our relationship might be coming to an end if I want to put my mouth on somebody else's vagina. Like, that's pretty big.
Right.
Right. And a lot more. I mean, that's pretty big to decide you're going to do that. Like, that's a lot.
Right.
You know, you got to kiss your wife with that mouth.
Right.
Right. Okay. So, but porn is unrealistic, and it's going to stretch the pain out for as long as the porn addiction lasts, you know. And then when you go to have sex with your wife or whatever, that could really make a difference.
But 2 years of doing porn, like
2 years is a long time to be doing porn. I don't know. The other things I was gonna say to check for is, like, there are moments in any romance, even a bad one. There are moments, there are windows of opportunity there to make love, to come back together. You have to be aware, and you won't come into that awareness if you are running around angry or hating or being, you know what I'm saying? You run around angry. You can't see the moments. You can't see your opportunities. Spending so much time being angry. They have some really great exercises you can do that are not sexual, but that kind of, like you were saying about requiring time of each other, that actually are intimate, though. Not just like going to the movies or whatever, but they have tantra exercises where you have to sit in each other's presence and in each other's space, exchanging energy, I think that's a really, really good one, because assumably nature will take over if you get in proximity with one another. Kiss, sit on each other's lap, invade the space in a way that is invitational, not confrontational.
But you got to make sex a priority. It has to be somewhere in there, and that's just my opinion. It got to be somewhere in there.
What do you mean?
Like, make time for it.
That's what I'm saying. But you can do it in a way that's like already kind of on the edge of sexual. If you say, okay, we're going to do these. I think exercising together is another really good one, because you're sweating, your endorphins are getting heightened. And
as far as the porn, not to cut you off, they said that somebody said her and her wife watched porn together, and it spiced things up to them. So they might.
Yeah, that's another good one too.
They might go back to watching porn together.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. To do it together. It's nice, I think. But that's why, like in my show, I have the couples lap dance instead of just like a regular lap dance, because it's something they can do together.
There's a lot of articles about this. It was this little video that I was trying to find. This is YouTube video that I was trying to find, that I was going to play the audio about. It's like a little 4-minute it's a little 4-minute video. If I could go back and find it, that I was watching, and it talked about it was saying how. Hold on, let me see if I could.
Was it porn?
No, it wasn't talking about porn. It was talking. Oh, it's getting hot in here. It was talking about.
That's because I'm in here.
Oh.
I bring that fire everywhere I go. Oh my God, y'all. I don't know. I think we should talk about menopause just a little bit.
Do that contribute to it? Go right ahead while I try to find this video.
I really think if your wife is 35, I mean, not like 45 or over, yeah, there is a distinct possibility that she or both of you may also be going through some serious chemical changes. Like, menopause is real and it is intense. Like the lady was saying earlier, that actually increased her sex drive. It can do both. It can do that, and it can shut it down, and it can just make you so uncomfortable that you don't want your you don't want to be engaged in anything sexual, because it's going to disrupt your whole damn day, because you're going to be sweating all over the place. You got to get back in the shower again, start your damn day over. It's crazy. In the mood swings and the weight gain and just everything that goes along with it can make it very difficult. And I think we have to remember to talk to each other through these things and have conversations about how we're feeling, like how we're physically feeling, and checking on each other. How are you doing today? What are you going through? Yeah. Did you find it?
Okay. I found this short little video. This audio I'm going to play is called The Sex-Starved Relationship, and it's from the School of Life. If you want to look that up on YouTube, again, it's The Sex-Starved Relationship. So we're going to take this break, let this play, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Let me get it pulled up.
So I just
get it pulled up here. But yeah, it's talking about the sex-starved relationship. Very interesting.
Being in a relationship where it doesn't feel like there's enough sex sounds like a trivial and somewhat comedic luxury problem, as though someone were complaining there wasn't enough tennis or yoga between a couple. But an absence of sex isn't trivial in the least. It's a humblingly serious problem, and might even be what dooms the relationship itself. One statistic stands out. In an average year in the OECD countries, 70% of those who initiated divorce cited a lack of sex as the first or second reason for parting. If there's one generalization we can make about couples, it's that a lack of sex, by which we mean something like less than 4 times a month, is an alarm bell we should listen to. Why is sex such a key part of keeping two people close? Because in sex, two people accept each other in the most profound of ways. The apparently dirty and shameful sides of us, the wayward fantasies and the unusual longings, are legitimated through sex. Someone else witnesses and accepts us as bodily and psychological beings. Sex symbolizes an end to loneliness and a reaffirmation of trust. Not daring or wanting to have sex with a partner is tantamount to admitting that one can't be oneself in their presence. A lack of sex is bad enough, but far worse is the way in which the unreciprocated longing for sex tends to manifest itself. Typically, the person who wants it doesn't ask very clearly, maybe merely sliding a hand over in a timid, half-hearted search for reciprocation. They don't complain calmly, don't deliver an eloquent, self-confident speech about how difficult they're finding it, and don't inquire sympathetically as to what might be going on in the partner. Far too often, they tend to quickly move on to symptomatic behavior, wherein their disappointment and sense of humiliation are acted out rather than discussed. They bang dishes, they get mean. A whole raft of conflicts then develops that has ostensibly nothing to do with sex, and yet is caused by its absence. One starts squabbling over the in-laws and the state of the kitchen. The one who's been let down sexually behaves so badly they start to seem like a monster, further reducing the chances of sex ever taking place. Eventually, the sex-starved party may simply go off and have an affair, not because they don't love their partner, but because showing their desire has become so fraught with rejection that they're out for a bit of revenge. The lack of sex discussion is so hard to have because, quite simply, it feels so shameful to be unwanted sexually. It plays into every worst fear about unacceptability. It's bad enough when it happens on a date. It's even sadder to have to admit that one's being rejected by one's partner inside the apparent safety and commitment of a long-term relationship. Maybe there's something wrong with them, but far more likely there's something revolting about us. Key to a process of reconciliation is to rein in one's wilder feelings of rejection and self-disgust in order to be able to consider why the other party might have gone off sex. Here's a key fact. Everyone wants sex, in principle. When it isn't wanted, it's because a condition for sex is not being met, and then not communicated. Privately, the sex-rejecting party has a problem they're not sharing. They might in secret be thinking, I might have sex if only you listened more to my problems with my family, or if you gave me more time to do my work, or if you weren't so mean to me around domestic chores. There might be kinkier reasons. I'd have more sex if you allowed me to play out certain fantasies, if you were more broad-minded about role-playing, if you were more into kissing, or wanted it rough, or could be more submissive. The person being denied sex hasn't usually had any chance to hear these reasons in plain, unaccusing, gentle terms. Or maybe they've heard them, but without a sober awareness of what's really at stake here. There's been no proper communication. Therefore, a classic recommendation, deliberately artificial, is that the two parties, aware that their entire relationship probably depends on getting this right, should write each other a letter titled simply, What I Want from Sex. It's a chance to be deeply honest about your true sexual identity. It's then incumbent on both parties to take the other's words seriously and in good faith. Two people are always going to be a bit sexually incompatible, but we shouldn't get so scared and angry at this that we create a secondary barrier of hurt, punishment, and shame. We should take the first steps to finding a way in which what you want and what they want can in a modest way be harmonized, and the sarcasm and bang dishes can stop. Every time such a conversation about sex happens in the quiet of the night, the angels of relationships hover over the bedroom and sound their silent trumpets in celebration, because another couple have just critically improved their chances of lasting a little longer together.
Lovely. This man's a fucking genius.
Yeah, that's from the School of Life, and they have other videos and stuff on YouTube. If y'all want to look that up, just type in the School of Life.
Oh yeah, like that.
The School of Life, and subscribe to it. They have some amazing videos on there about all kind of stuff on there. They got like 6 million followers, I think. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I just want to play and share that. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that was right on time. The thing about, like, if you're trying to have sex with your partner doesn't want to. Usually there's a reason. Like, and a lot of times people don't really ask the reason. He made a really good point with that. People don't ask the reason. You don't talk about why you're not having sex. You just take the rejection and like internalize it and get angry. And then you start getting hella angry, and then your partner is like, "Ooh, I am so unattracted to you right now because you are angry and mean and judging me." It could have been something simple, like she just didn't feel good or whatever. And then it just compounds and compounds and compounds, and it just gets worse without us ever talking about it. So just like with anything else in our relationships, or in life in general, we have to talk about these things, and we have to talk about them without arguing or without belittling the other person. I think most of the problem comes from poor communication, like not saying anything, but then when you say stuff, it's bad. You use words you can't take back and all of that, and then over time it's hard to get back to that loving place because you have all these other things hanging over your head. Like, you know, I want to have sex with you, but remember when you hit me in the head with that wooden spoon? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of hard after you can get to the point of no return when it comes to the way we, deal with one another. Or don't deal with one another. Right, the point of no return. Like the girl with the porn. She got to the point where she watched the porn for like 2 years and did whatever, and she just had no sexual desire anymore. I think if we, how's that song say from Sparkle? Take self-inventory of your woman and your glory, leave the bad things behind. If you can do that, if you can actually stand back and look at yourself and say, I'm a woman in my 30s, I'm a woman in my 40s, and look back at your relationships and look at the things that are consistent in those relationships. What consistently broke you up? What problem persists consistently throughout your relationships, throughout your life, and you will understand that you are the common denominator. And so you either have to find someone that accepts the worst of you along with the best of you, or you'll have to do some soul searching and try to change the things that keep destroying your relationship. So if you are a person who knows that you have a low sex drive, don't get in a relationship with a person that has a high sex drive.
Yeah, but that again comes from not communicating in the beginning, because sometimes that happens.
But it can happen in a relationship. Yeah, you might think you have a high sex drive because somebody turns you on, but then you start fighting, arguing, whatever, and then you decide, maybe
if they have a low sex drive in the beginning, don't, because a lot of times, and this is in any relationship, people start off trying to satisfy that person and doing stuff that they typically would not do. They go above and beyond and do things, and it's even sexually. It goes back to the same thing. If you know you can't afford to continue to take somebody to a 5-star restaurant, don't start off taking them to a 5-star restaurant on days spending $150 on a meal, when typically on a regular basis you're going to spend $50 at a sports bar on a meal. It's the same thing with sex. Don't start off with fucking 2-3 times a day. That's the wrong phone. Wait, how's on that phone? Okay, that was a caller. I'm going to call him back. Give me 1 second, caller. I'm going to call you back. But it's the same thing with sex. Don't start off in sex if you know that you're not a person that want to have sex every day. Don't start off. I ain't going to say 2 or 3 times, but don't start off having sex 2 or 3 times a week if you know you only want to have sex once a month. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, you having sex, knowing that you really don't engage in sex like that, and then now it is a 6 months or a year into a relationship, and now you want to cut it, just stop everything and say, oh, I only want to have sex once every 3 months. That's wrong, because you should have, if you knew.
I really don't. I doubt people go in like, I'm gonna have sex with this person a lot of times.
Nah,
then
they
I'm
don't.
Gonna stop having sex with them because fuck them. Like, what is that? Like,
okay,
no.
hold on. Let me. You could talk on that for a minute. I'm gonna get this caller back on the line.
You think people just like trapping you? Like, I'm just gonna have sex with this person a lot so I can get them to come and pay half my rent, and then I'm gonna stop having sex with them. Girl, you think it's conscious?
Well, it's sometimes it's some people out there that's not looking for love. They're just looking for help, and they use sex to get that help.
Well, then I would suggest you lesbians stop dating straight girls.
I don't date straight girls.
I'm just saying that, but when you have a...
Hold on, the caller. Gonna put the caller on that I cut off a minute ago. Hello? Hi. If you have us on speaker, can you take it off speaker because you echo and we can't hear you?
Well, because it was me and my wife. That's
man, and we can't hear when you're on speaker. It gives an echo.
Okay. All right. So she wanted me to talk because of her accent, so it's all good.
Okay.
But we were talking about, because we were originally talking about the lesbian bed death. We were the ones that said that it was 2 weeks and we were in disagreement about it.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
So now we were talking about like listening to the thing that you just played from the YouTube.
The audio play.
Yeah, the audio play. So, a lot of things that he was saying, because it was like her, like she would get mad at me. But then it was like, so in our past, it used to be where she wanted me to initiate. So then when I started initiating, I just would say, hey, come on, let's go. And she was like, I don't like the way that you initiate it. It's a turnoff.
Right.
So then now, I'm like, okay, so then we stop having sex. Because if you don't want me, you want me to initiate, you don't like the way I'm initiating, you telling me I'm turning you off, so what am I supposed to do? So now I've learned, many years into this, is that I have to do a nonverbal initiation. And that's a turn on.
Just like coming in the room naked and doing a dance or something.
It's not even that. It is just rolling over on her side of the bed and just kissing her neck. It's just that simple.
Oh, okay, that's easy.
But no verbal.
Simple. Non-verbal. Yeah. But that's the thing. You have to learn your love communication languages.
How long have y'all been together?
In September, we'll be married for 5 years.
Oh, okay. Have you noticed
we have 2 toddlers. So, of course, our sex life is going to suffer a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, have you noticed that other things have changed, like the way, because I feel like after you've been together for a long time, and as we get older, our desires change. Like I used to be into one thing, and now I might not be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, have you noticed any of that?
Not really. I mean, I think we could probably stand to be a little bit more adventurous.
Oh, yeah. Y'all could come to one of my shows.
But, I mean, a little trip to the pleasure chest never hurt nobody, right?
Yeah,
never hurt nobody.
Where in California are you?
We're just in Hawthorne. By LAX.
Oh, yeah, that's far. Yeah. All right. So
that's not by Oakland.
No, LAX is far.
I wish we were, because
like
I could
6
go.
hours.
Is it Fillmore or something like that up there?
Yeah, we have a show up in Sacramento.
okay.
Recurring every month, but I'm still working on LA a little bit. But so y'all, you changed the way you initiate. Does she initiate?
Oh yes.
And you like the way she initiates?
Oh yes. But I think here lately, because she probably wanted more. Like I mean, this whole thing, like, she told me about the subject coming up like earlier in the week, you know. And when she first brought it up, it really bothered me, because it was like, do you think that we actually have that, you know? I mean, and I'm trying to say, you know, in my opinion, am I doing my job not necessarily as a wifely duty, but basically wifely duties, you know what I mean?
Right.
To satisfy my partner. And if I'm not, then I need to step up my game. So it was like, when she brought that up, I was like, oh, well, we better call and see everything that, you know, let's learn from this and see what's going on. So I want to thank you, ladies, because you truly have opened up the lines of communication for us, for sure.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because she always listens to you guys, but I mean, I've listened in a couple times, you know, but I'm usually doing other things. But, you know, like I said, this subject definitely resonated with both of us, and it's like, okay, we got to do better.
Yeah, that's great.
But thank you for inspiring us to do better.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, and appreciate the support.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, communication. How you, seduction. And that's what one of my things was earlier. You wasn't down here. I was mentioning a couple of things of how you could know that is leading to that, and how you can probably start fixing it before it gets to that point. And he mentioned it in the audio play that I played about making excuses why not to have sex. And now it's how you initiate sex. Some people like verbal, some people don't, but for the most part, non-verbal typically works. But then non-verbal, you can also be rejected when you approach nonverbal too, like pushing other hands away and stuff like that.
I would like to talk about intention also.
Okay, go ahead.
Because now I'm no expert on this. I wish like Nairobi or somebody was listening, or Nikki or somebody, because they could speak to it probably better than I can. But I feel like intention makes a lot of difference, especially if there's been trauma in the relationship. And now you're to the place where you're ready to start having sex again. I mean, you know, usually that initial sex after like an argument or something can be really good. But sometimes when too much time has passed, the sex needs to be, whoever is initiating it, that sex needs to be a giving kind of sex. Like, you need to be wanting to go into it to feel your partner, to reconnect, like purpose. I'm talking about purpose, the purpose of sex. Are you coming to me because I am something warm and fluffy that you can grind one out on because it's been too long?
Right.
Or are you wanting to reconnect? Do you want my energy to become intertwined with your energy? Are we joining energetic forces and taking our relationship to the next level, which is we can survive this because we want to be together? Or has it just been too long and your little clit is hard? Like, what's up?
Right.
With the intention,
right,
when you're trying to get back with your partner after it's been a while. I definitely think that is a relevant topic, because when you have a lot of anger and you have a lot of unresolved issues, you have a lack of forgiveness going on the part of the person who is rejecting you. They haven't forgiven you yet. That's the main problem.
Yeah. But forgiveness, and this is a whole different topic or subject, but I always post about this and say this. Forgiveness is for self. It's not for the other person. You have to be able to forgive, know, accept, take responsibility for whatever part it in on a personal level. And so many times people are unable to forgive a certain situation because they don't understand that forgiveness is for self. It's personal. It's not for the other person. So they looking for this other person to justify certain things that really don't need to be justified. They're looking for this person to answer questions that they already have the answers to. So, and that's why a lot of times people hold on to stuff and they're not able to move forward with things. And it's not saying that forgiving the person is saying that you say, oh, what happened is your fault. It's not really about blame. And a lot of times when you're trying to forgive, people always look at who did what. Johnny did this, Sally did that, Mary did that. They don't sit back and focus on what they did to contribute to that possible situation. Because every time something happens, it's always not just one person. It's certain things that led up to that. And when you have to sit back and you have to think about the whole situation, you have to forgive yourself for the situation. And sometimes maybe, okay, I have to forgive myself because maybe I did not make that time needed when that my spouse or my partner, my girlfriend, whatever, was reaching out to me and they was telling me, but I blew it off because, they not going the way I deal with it later. So maybe the fact that you didn't have time to deal with whatever the situation was that they was trying to communicate with you at that time, you did not take time to listen to them and to communicate with them. You only took time at that moment to reply, because a lot of times people don't listen to be listening. They listen and they're ready to respond, and they respond defensively. So they're not listening. They're just listening so that they could respond in a defensive way. But again, forgiveness is for self. So you have to sit there and you have to say, well, okay, I understand I did not make the time, or I ignored my partner when my partner or my girlfriend, whomever, came to me and they tried to discuss this with me. So yeah, it made them angry. It might have pushed them. But then that person who reached back to you with rage, they also have to understand and they also have to forgive themselves for maybe lashing out in the way that they lashed out to you. And they have to forgive themselves because, okay, maybe the first time, maybe the way they communicated it, what didn't come out right. Maybe they should have sat back and thought, well, maybe I need to communicate this in a different way since this approach did not help or this did not fit the situation. So again, you have to forgive yourself. You have to evaluate the situation, evaluate your part in the situation, and take responsibility for what you did and forgive yourself. And don't wait for that other person to come back and say, I'm sorry. And that's what happens a lot of time. People looking for this sorry to justify the whole situation, and they forgetting about their part in that situation. But if everybody learn that forgiveness is for themselves, they think about what they did, they sit back, they think about a different approach in their communication, then it shouldn't be an issue with it. And a lot of people always say that with me. Like, I had people tell me that in the past. Something happened where, even with friends, something happened where I argue, then I'm over it, and they still want to talk about it because I already evaluated the situation. I already and know what I did wrong. So now I'm on to something different, and I'm not holding on to what happened. I'm done with it. It's over. It happened yesterday. But for some people, because they don't know how to forgive self and move past it, they continue to hold on to it. They continue to use it as an excuse for not moving forward.
Yeah, because they don't really forgive the person.
But they don't. It's not about forgiving a person.
Well,
again, forgiveness is for self. If you forgive self and take responsibility for what self contribute to the situation, then you'll forgive yourself, and then you're forgiven. I'm sorry, but that's just how I look at it. I know a lot of people don't look at forgiveness like that, but that's just me. Even
But okay, so since you say that, I think somebody earlier on the Facebook stream mentioned depression.
Mm-hmm.
So we all know that when you're not, it's a vicious cycle. You're not having sex because you're depressed, and you're depressed because you're not having sex. because, you know, sex makes you feel happy.
Right. It's a stress reliever.
But if you're depressed, then you don't reward yourself. People who are depressed don't reward themselves. They just compound problems to make themselves feel worse because depression feeds itself.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
You just lost me.
I did. I'm saying depression can be a problem in all of this.
The depression that was created from not having sex.
It could have been created from not having sex, but you might already be depressed. You're talking about women. And you're talking about women in a really interesting time in America where a lot of people are on like antidepressant drugs and things like that. People very in tune with how happy or unhappy they are. Right. And I believe that people create, especially women that I know, create problems where there are none. Or my mama used to call it making a mountain out of a molehill. Is like reading too much into it. Stop reading people's minds, man. We're projecting, and we don't realize we're projecting this anger and frustration onto our partner, and our partner sometimes doesn't know like where it's all coming from, and so there's confusion compounded on top of depression, compounded on top of anger, and
sex.
You expect to create an orgasm out of that confusion. Like, if you can do it, when I in my youth, how I would handle that is have a lot to drink and have angry good sex, angry choking, fighting sex. Because the only thing that can come out of that, the only way I was going to get any kind of orgasm is by making it into crazy sex, because it was crazy shit.
Okay.
But as an older woman, I don't do crazy anymore. So it's got to be,
thank God.
It's got to be something authentic and holistic. If it's not authentic and holistic, fuck that, I'll wait.
So you don't agree with my forgiveness theory?
Nope. We got to iron it all out. And I think a lot of women are like that. I think that's why when people are in relationships like marriages.
But you still have to forgive. Forgiveness is still a part of it.
It is, but forgiving yourself is one thing, but forgiving your partner for something that they've done it's all intertwined.
Okay.
It's not about who is responsible for anything.
Right.
It's about how you feel about something. And you can only feel great about something if that something makes you feel great.
Right. I agree with
you. Don't feel great about a glass of milk if it gives you gas.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't feel great. Like, you have to feel great about some things. Sex does help you to make things feel great, but you also have to understand that it fucks with your mind. So you want to be sure that you're feeling great because you're in a relationship that you feel great about, and not because you're having great sex with someone in a relationship that you don't feel great about.
Yeah, I like how you put that.
Really? Yeah. That was good, huh? Yeah, go Jessica. Go Jessica.
Yeah, that was good. Okay, so we, as always, appreciate you for tuning in, people. You're beautiful. We appreciate you. Tell somebody they're beautiful. Look in the mirror. Tell yourself you're beautiful. Tell your wife, girlfriend, they're beautiful. Have sex. Lots of sex. Lots of sex.
Lots of sex.
Lots of sex. And that's pretty much it. Did you have anything? What you looking at your phone? Some comments? Because you ain't read
somebody went to the website from Los Angeles, and I was wondering if that was your people, right?
Okay. So, yeah, we're here each and every Sunday at 7:30. Here shortly, we will, because I seen a couple of people was hitting me up asking me why didn't we go Facebook Live. I'm not really into the Facebook Live, and I'm not really good at the Facebook Live, and because right now I'm really like manning the boards and everything, solo dolo, it was just easier to just do it from the radio. But I do appreciate all those who download the app, but here shortly we will be on the live stream where you will be able to physically see us and chime in on the conversation, Skype in on there where we'll be able to see you. We are working on that now, so within the next couple of weeks we'll be kicking off the stream live Canvas with a K, right, Jessica?
Yeah, we'll be able to live stream on Live Canvas, but even before then, Don and I have a trip scheduled to go to Dallas and Houston, and we'll be doing a little bit of Facebook Live. From there, in Houston in particular, I hope that you guys will come out and meet us, or at least tune in to the show. It's going to be on Sunday at her normal time, where she would normally be here, in the Playhouse. We'll be there at the Montrose Center, and we'll be doing Sunday Love Confessions.
Yep, Love Confessions. That is my best part of the show.
We are so excited.
I love the Love Confessions. They are so authentic and real and just heart feeling when you listen to them. I mean, it's almost like they're apologizing for something, but the Love Confessions are beautiful. And Jessica and I will also be hosting Love Confessions on Ellie Radio soon, where you can call in and give your love confessions. But again, the live streaming, so you will be able to physically see us, is coming soon. We are working hard on that. Okay, so again, we appreciate you for tuning in. And yes, somebody asked me how was the website going. The website is going well. I should be done with that. Probably gonna set a goal to be done with that by the end of this week. Totally new look. Everything is gonna be up there. Upcoming shows, upcoming events is on there. We still are looking for interns and volunteers. We do have some positions open as well. You could email me at hipinc@leradio.org. If you're not a member, you can also join us at www.hipinc.org. And again, as always, I appreciate you all for tuning in. Everybody have a beautiful, beautiful work week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Happy Pride to all those that was out enjoying Pride today. Hope everyone did that safely. Good night, my beautiful people.
This radio podcast is brought to you by HIP INC, an educational-based nonprofit arts collective where creative minds come together, share, and create art. You can become a member, donate, and sponsor by going to www.hipinc.org. Like them on Facebook at The Hip Team and on IG at HIP_INC.